Everybody, this is Vic Mars, and you're watching CMS TV.
And what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of CHRIS Akin Presents, the news edition here. And today we are going to get into a little news about the band Dream Theater. But before we do that, I do want to remind you that this episode of CHRIS Akin Presents is sponsored by our friends over at Blackout Coffee. And you can see the link at the bottom. And you can look right here as well, and you can see Blackout Coffee is it's a great product. They have a lot of great coffee. It's real coffee. It's not the kind that you see where a lot of rock stars are just branding any old bag of coffee. This is real coffee. It is really good, and it is a fantastic coffee. If you can just either visit the website on the scroll here or in the description, and use the promo code CHRIA20, which I guess is Chris Akin 20. CHRIA20. You'll save 20% on your next purchase. So make sure you use that code, and you will save a little coin on the pick-me-up that you need to get every single day started. So make sure you do it. Okay? Okay. Now let's get into it here. Obviously here we are talking Dream Theater today. Dream Theater, as most of you I'm sure are aware, and some of you even care, Dream Theater has announced recently the return of drummer Mike Portnoy to the band. And with that has come all kinds of discussion and preparation, and fans are going crazy. What will it sound like? Will they play the Mangini music? Will they avoid it? It's hard to avoid it because certainly they had some history with that music, with they won a Grammy, and they never did that with Portnoy. So do you just ignore that music and go back to the old way, or what? So those have been the big questions. Basically, what's it sound like, and how does it compare to the more recent stuff? So I recently sat down with the keyboard player of Dream Theater, with Jordan Rudess, and Jordan's a great guy. I mean, if you've never heard any of his interviews, look for mine or anybody's really with Jordan. He's a really great talker, and he's pretty open and honest, which, a lot of times when you get a band at that level, you get them talking about generalities, I guess. Generalities, I guess that's the word. Basically, they talk in very general terms. They don't want to give up anything. They're like, well, the new music's going to be kind of what fans would want. It's a mishmash of the old and the new to give it its own all that kind of horse shit stuff that those guys like to spew. Jordan has never been like that. And so since the interest these days is all about what is the music going to sound like, I just asked him point blank what it's going to sound like and how it's going to be. So I'm going to flip over to the video here, and you guys could check it out for yourself. This is Jordan Rudess talking about what the new music from Dream Theater is going to sound like. Let me rewind that. So here it is. Check it out. It's Jordan Rudess with me talking about the new Dream Theater. It's almost a weird time, I guess, to see you putting out a solo record with so much going on in the Dream Theater camp. So before we get into Permission to Fly, why don't we start there? Why don't you catch people up on your last, 6 or 7 months, which I'm assuming have been very chaotic.
Well, yeah, it's been a really, really super busy time. So, if we start with Dream Theater and go back to Permission to Fly, that's fine. So, spent a couple of months in the studio writing music with the guys, and of course, we welcomed back Mike Portnoy to the fold, which was a beautiful thing. Very emotional. Felt it made us feel kind of like complete and like here we are again. Like, the
Right.
idea of time is just so funny because when Mike walked in and we started, it was as if we hadn't missed a beat, and it was just such a great feeling. I mean, we got right into it. We didn't waste any time. He he came. He is, in a great spot where he was just really excited to come and join us very respectfully, because the reality is that there have been a lot of years that have passed.
Sure.
But our our bigger reality to the whole thing is that we're welcoming back this guy that has so much to offer, that loves Dream Theater, that's passionate, that is able to do so many things so well that it's all positive. It really is. It's all great, and I think that the fans and all the listeners will feel that, will hear that, will see that in what we're creating.
Sure. Let me just ask you this, and then we will move on to it, because I do not want to turn this into an all Dream Theater thing. But
Sure.
musically speaking, is it closer? Where is this new music? Without telling us anything really about it, where does this music
Sure.
fit in? Is it images and words? Is it black clouds? Is it somewhere where you guys without Mike have been? Because you obviously
Yeah.
had the Grammy win, so you had the
Sure.
most kind of success. Where does this musically fit in as you see it?
Well, let's put it this way. Like, I think that there's this undeniable, almost unexplainable or inexplainable, whatever the word is,
Right.
type of thing that happens with drummers. Like, we survived beautifully in the 13 years that Mike Portnoy was not there. Mike Mangini was a supreme drummer, just incredible. Um, and that said, all the albums with Portnoy, all the albums Mangini, they have different flavors because there's something about the backbeat, if you will, of a band and the drummer that just gives an energy to the whole thing. And a lot of people speak of that. It's kind of hard to pin down, but you really notice it. Like on this new album, I'm like, oh, I listen to it and I go, okay, I feel the Portnoy energy back
Right.
there. I would say, what I'm hearing personally is like classic kind of Dream Theater. Whatever that, let's just say whatever that means to anybody that's listening, you'll have to wait and see. But it just feels like, think of it this way. The core band is back together again. It's classic Dream Theater. I also like to point out that, we are a bunch of guys that we take what we do very, very seriously. We put every ounce, every bit of effort, energy into everything we do. We care so much about it, each and every one of us. The other day, I was talking to John Petrucci in the studio when I was doing my keyboard parts. And we were like really deep and working really hard and spending long hours and just getting things, to where we feel they're really, really right. And I said to John, John, like, what? Look at what we're doing. We're here late. We're working like crazy. Like, why? we, we could have been making pop music. Like, what? Why are we doing this? Just to get like to really understand, because a lot of people don't put the kind of effort, I guess, especially these days when I don't know, there tends to be a different kind of work ethic around, where maybe we're kind of like old school in that way. But to produce a product, to make something that's going to last, that is going to be shared with a large number of people, it's just going to live on, in a way forever, that to us is a really serious thing. And as artists, we're trying to make a statement. And back to the to the Portnoy part of it, which
Mhm.
is that one of the beautiful things is Mike has brought with him all his incredible skills. He's not a guy who just plays the drums really well. He also understands his business. I always like to say that he's got kind of like a film director's mentality. He's looking at everything from a conceptual point of view, and he has skills that the rest of us don't. I mean, yes, we survived fine. We did really well. We won a Grammy and all that, but there's a magic there that we now have back.
Right.
You know, it's cool. It's really cool. We're super excited. The album's coming along really well. I finished all my keyboard parts. Really pleased with them. Got some really beefy, cool tones, and there was a great piano in the studio, which just rocked when I needed it to. It was really melodic when I needed it to. The drums sound amazing. Petrucci's solos are, I don't know, every album he just seems to outdo himself with all that. The bass sounds great. I mean, Jimmy T, our engineer, it's incredible just watching him work.
Right.
So the team is in a good place. James is doing his vocals pretty much as we speak. And I got a little taste of that, and they sound great. So yeah, it's in a good spot.
So there you have it. There's Jordan Rudess pretty much explaining everything that you would possibly need to know about the new Dream Theater album. He didn't really give an exact time. As he said, it's still being recorded, so they're not to the phase yet where they've got dates and all that stuff, organized yet. If I had to guess, I would say late this year, maybe even early next year. Because if they're not done now, they're going to probably finish up in August or September. There's always that 3-month cycle, and nobody likes to release at Christmas time. So odds are good that it'll probably be January, if I had to guess, and I have no knowledge at all other than to guess. But there you heard it, straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. Jordan Rudess talking about the new Dream Theater. And that should give you a pretty good idea of what you can expect if you are a Dream Theater fan. I'm sure that probably excites you. It excites you to hear it. It excites you to actually hear some actual talking about what's going on and what it sounds like and what it feels like. And there you have it. So make sure if you are a Dream Theater fan that you are checking that out when it comes out. I'm sure I don't have to tell you guys that, but please do, because let's keep these bands alive. All right. And that is going to do it for this edition of CHRIS Akin Presents. Thank you so much, as always, for watching and listening and doing all the things. Please support our sponsor, Blackout Coffee. That would be very cool. And that's going to do it for this one. So until next time, this has been CHRIS Akin Presents. I am Chris Akin, and I will be again tomorrow. See you, folks.
You see all the commercials for online gambling, but you're afraid to try them because you just don't want to lose, right? Well, play with the house's money. Right now, sign up with FanDuel at fanduel.cnspn.com and get $15 of free bets just for using our link. Sign up today at fanduel.cmspn.com and get $15 worth of bets on FanDuel. Be responsible and play today.